Hi everybody. I am trying the outdoors again because of a crowded work environment at my dining room table. I am Sandy from the police station, and I'm going to pick up where we left off on Kate DiCamillo's Louisiana's Way Home, published by Candlewick Press, and I'm going to read chapter 18 with the permission of the publisher. Here we go. When I opened my eyes, I was on a red flowered couch and 3 faces were looking down at me. One of the faces belonged to Burke Allen. "She ain't no bigger than a minute," said a man with very short gray hair. "Her name is Louisiana Elefante," said Burke, "and her mama and daddy was trapeze artists." "I thought she was some kind of wounded animal," said a third person. He looked just like Burke, except older. His hair was blonde too, and cut just the same as Burke's and the old man's. "I thought maybe she was a bobcat," said the blonde man, who was surely Burke's father. "She was wailing like a bobcat. There ain't no more bobcats in them woods," said the gray-haired man. "I know that, Daddy," said Burke's father. "I'm just saying that's what she sounded like." "Well, she ain't no bigger than a minute." "You already said that, Grandpap," said Burke. I'm saying it again, ain't I?" "You are all Burke Allens," I said, because it was just now making sense to me. One Burke Allen was the father, and the other Burke Allen was the grandfather, and the final Burke Allen was my Burke Allen. Burke looked down at me and smiled and said, "Hey, Louisiana." I stuck up my hand and waved at him. "Hey," said Burke again, "how do you feel?" "I feel strange," I said. "Maybe it's an old curse," said Burke. "What? Maybe it's that old curse," said Burke. "What curse?" said the grandfather. "There's a curse upon her head," said Burke. "Now, son," said Burke's father, "don't go making things up." "I ain't making it up," said Burke. She told it all to me." "Where's Clarence?" I said. No one answered me. The cake smell was very strong. The couch was flowered. Did I say that already? My ankle hurt, but not so much. I felt like I was floating on a flowered, cake-scented cloud. Maybe I was in heaven. Granny didn't believe in heaven, but that didn't mean I didn't have to believe, did it? And maybe I came from a long line of believers. Who could say? In any case, the cake smelled very, very good. "What kind of cake is that I smell?" I said to Burke. And there was a woman coming toward us, and she had big blonde hair, and she was smiling at me. She didn't look like the Blue Fairy, but she smiled in the same way the Blue Fairy smiled. She was wiping her hands on a striped dish towel, and she said, "Honey, that is my famous chocolate cake." Burke said, "Mama is making 17 cakes." "17?" I said. "17," she said. 17 cakes. The room spun around. "Burke," I said, "I don't know who I am." "You're Louisiana," he said. "Did she hit her head?" said the mom. "There's a letter," I said. I tried to sit up, but I felt dizzy and I immediately had to lay back down. The letter explains everything. Actually, it didn't explain anything at all. And besides, the letter is gone, blown by the wind into the lands of no return. "How's that?" said the grandfather. "The lands of what?" "We'll find it," said Burke. "I don't want to ever see that letter again," I said, and I started to cry. "She's crying," said Burke. "I see that, son," said Burke's father. "Hey now," said the grandfather. He took hold of my hand, and his hand was so rough and calloused and oversized that it was like holding on to a horse hoof. I cried harder. I had never held hands with a horse before. "Thought she was a bobcat," said Burke's father. "No bigger than a minute," said the grandfather. He squeezed my hand with his horse hoof. It hurt, but it was comforting, too. "Burke," I said, "Granny is gone." "Gone?" said Burke. "Gone," I said. The world smelled so sweet. I thought I would just close my eyes. There we have it, chapter 18.